Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Desire Dialogues. Today's episode is sexual empowerment and self love, embracing your desires, your body, and your boundaries, and embracing those boundaries as they change throughout your life. So, today we are gonna talk about sexual empowerment and self love in the context of relationships and personal well being. So, truly, I want to emphasize that this conversation is going to be inclusive, applies to everybody, regardless of your gender, sexual orientation, or your relationship status. So, first off, what is sexual empowerment? What does it mean to be sexual empowered? It really breaks down to understand your desires, learning how to express your sexuality freely, staying open to new things that make you feel sexy, and standing firm within your boundaries that you create on your sexual journey. Sexual empowerment is so closely intertwined with confidence. Your self-confidence and self-esteem truly can be affected by societal pressures, of course, such as magazines and social media, really giving us a look at what sex should look like, what confidence should look like, what beauty looks like, what your body looks like, and how that can really truly affect one's sense of sexual agency. I also want to touch base really importantly on how culture can influence how we feel about ourselves sexually and how open we feel that it's free to be, right? How safe that is for us. Um, Religion, culture, and our upbringing truly impact, how we view our sexuality and our journey towards empowerment individually. When you're in cultures and religions, they may truly dismiss any freeness around expressing yourself sexually. There may be certain contexts where sex is only appropriate, maybe not allowed to talk about. And that really can not make you feel truly empowered if you don't feel safe enough or encouraged enough to be sexually open in a way that feels authentic to you. Second part, the importance of self-love in your sexual empowerment. So what is self-love, right? Little deep dive. It's not just in terms of appearance, but it's truly accepting and honoring your body, your desires, and your emotions around sex. Overcoming shame and guilt can be so heavy, and it can be a lifelong process, true. And this is really where working with a coach can help you step into your most truest, authentic sexual form. You work through your feelings of guilt, inadequacy, particularly related to sexual desires, and on the impact of society and the shame that it really can put upon you, especially in the United States. Body positivity and acceptance, that beautiful connection between body image and your confidence and your sexual capacity. There are so many different strategies. I highly recommend a mirror exercise where you find a different way to look at yourself objectively. I would suggest that you stand in front of a mirror. All right, you can start with fully clothed. And I want you to just be objective as you notice, as you scan from the top of your head down to your toes. Be objective. Notice if there's any negative feelings popping up around those areas. Listen and then keep continuing to move on. I want you to find a few neutral things about yourself. You don't have to go straight to positive yet if you're not there, especially if body dysmorphia is a part of your identity right now, which it's very common. We really got to find different ways to love and care for our body, regardless of the societal beauty standards, right? Exercises are tools for building your self-love. So if you're feeling not super high on the self-love scale these days, that's okay. lots of different exercises. I love affirmations. I love journaling, and truly exploring like your personal desires through solo activities is the safest and great way to start. You know your body best. So for example, exploring your fantasies, masturbation, erotica, it really helps enhance that self-awareness and your sexual confidence the more that you are attuned and making yourself available to these activities. So let's talk about setting boundaries. So, like, what are boundaries, right? You have sexual and emotional boundaries. And these boundaries are your guardrails that essentially keep things into context for a healthy sexual and romantic life. Um, Super important to respect others' boundaries so you can have conversations about boundaries. You can do boundaries in breakfast. I highly recommend to not talk about boundaries in the sexual tense in a sexual setting. That's like a dinner table conversation. So when you need to communicate your sexual and emotional needs with your partners, which can change over time, really discuss them exactly what you need, and also be comfortable with saying no. Um, Boundaries are different too when you have different relationship dynamics. So boundaries can play out in various types of relationships. You have monogamous, polyamorous, open relationships. These are going to look different for every partner. And if you're having difficulties figuring out what boundaries are now in like a new type of relationship dynamic, definitely a coach can help you with that. I would love to be your mentor on that and finding what works best for you and all the parties involved. So let's talk about exploring your desires. So when we have this self-discovery, your sexuality as you explore this is a lifelong journey, and I really encourage you to really experiment with different forms of self-pleasure and interest and fantasies and sensory play because they can change. Very, very important. There was something, if you haven't heard of it, erotic blueprint. This is created by Jaya. She created the erotic blueprints. And the erotic blueprints is how everyone has unique sexual preferences and desires. So the erotic blueprints can be kinky, it can be sensual, it can be shapeshifter, it can be energetic. And so the thing is, I definitely can create an entire podcast episode of that or a workshop. Feel free to email me. My contact information is in the bottom and we can get more into that. I work with this directly with clients, and it is incredible to truly understand your erotic blueprint and find the best ways that really turn you on and without judgment. Discuss how, your fantasies with your partner would make you feel. It doesn't mean that the fantasies have to happen. Like, example, I want to have two men with me, as a vagina owner, and I want this to go down. Just sharing it is part of the excitement. Really, just fantasies are so normal, even if they don't align with societal norms, right? Truly, fantasies and your desires is an important part of sexual empowerment, speaking your truth. And I really want to highlight the role of communicating in exploring these desires. So when we open up about our sexual desires to a partner, we want it to be in a safe and comfortable way, right? So when we go ahead and speak about communication, you can start it like this, okay? Like a positive sandwich. So I love our sex life, and I feel like I'd like to explore more. Would you be open to a conversation to discuss these with me? And they say yes or no, right? And if they say no, you're like, what makes you hesitant about that? And you don't have to answer me right now, especially if you need to think about it. If they say yes, but not right now, I don't want to talk about it, be like, all right, when would be a good time to chat? Maybe we can go to lunch next week. And that's the thing. There's a lot of ways to communicate this. I am a communication expert, and it is really like there's so many different ways to say things, but there's truly just one way to make sure you can affirm your partner that nothing is wrong and that you want to explore more with them to truly deepen your sexual connection and experience together. There's some, when it comes to sexual empowerment, there's going to be some challenges, right? So there's a lot of common challenges, such as big deal for me, the lack of sexual education, right? Oh, United States, it's really tricky. So my goal is to truly sexually and pleasure educate you as adults now. Truly smashing the shame around desire. Shame is a giant obstacle. But we also have these negative past experiences that we don't necessarily truly grieve through and process. And there's this giant pressure to conform to certain sexual standards within your culture, within your religion, within your friend group, within your generation, right? Within your family. So truly reclaiming your power after negative experiences is, whether that's sexual abuse, shame, past relationship dynamics, body image issues. It is a really powerful experience, and it does not happen overnight. When we start setting boundaries, saying no to the things that are not a fuck yes in our body, we start to reclaim our power. There's a lot of therapeutic approaches here. Sex positive counseling and coaching truly can help you build up your sexual confidence and get rid of the shame and really help you reclaim your sexual power. This is something that I do with my private coaching, and it's a beautiful transformation. Everyone's a little bit different in how they transform, but it is so unique and sexually powerful for them. It's life-changing, you know. Um, so what's one boundary you struggle to communicate, and how can you start to address it? And I'm going to leave you with this last question as well. How do you embrace your body and your desires? I would love it if you shared with me in an email. If you commented on this podcast, totally, if you want to. Not, not a requirement. I would love to let you sit with that. I want you to sit with a bit of what you would like to, you know, what you desire to express. What do you, want to build your sex confidence? What new boundaries do you think may need to be there? There's just a lot that you can really unpack with this, right? And so, my friends, we get those main key points, right? Sexual confidence, um, boundaries, communication, acceptance, body positivity exercises. You have plenty of affirmations and journaling at your fingertips, and definitely solo activities, solo love. The truly the self-love journey and sexual empowerment journey is really, it's deep and it's beautiful, but it is individual. So just know that if you need personalized help, I absolutely got you. There are plenty resources that I would love to share with you. Books like Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. You can find some workshops. You can follow me on social media. I would love to hear from you on social media. Any ideas related to these topics and any future episodes that you're curious about. So I really hope that this episode just gave you a little bit of, some words for thought. And I encourage you so much to explore sexual empowerment and self-love tools, and a little bit of education with today so you can improve your relationship with yourself and with others. And until then, my friends, I wish you the best.